everybody, welcome back to Webb's Water Gardens. This is the warehouse where we house all of the stuff you order online, and we package it up and make sure it gets to you to solve all of your pond-related problems and fix all of your pond-related needs. So today, I want to talk about something that fills up this warehouse. I want to talk about skimmers. So first off, this is Joe. He is the expert. He is the know-it-all on ponds and pond maintenance. Joe, why don't you hit us with just an explanation on what a skimmer is?
Yeah, it's basically a box that's either going to house a pump or the pump's going to pull from it if you're using an external, and it's going to pull debris off the surface. And mainly you want that because you don't want any debris that hits the surface to eventually sink, which is going to add to muck and just increase excess nutrients in the pond, which you don't want.
This is the step that comes way before you ever need to worry about an algae bloom. We're trying to get that food out of the ecosystem. Is that more or less correct?
Yeah, exactly right.
So we already know what a skimmer does, but what's inside of this box that you talked about?
For the most part, the first thing you're going to hit is a leaf net or a leaf basket. It's going to catch that big stuff that gets pulled in first. Behind that, you're either going to see some hanging brushes or a filter pad, which is just mechanical filtration. It's going to catch all those finer particulates before it hits the pump or the suction.
So this is basically like, I guess like a fancy way to kind of pan out all the different sizes of things. Is that more or less correct? Because the first layer is just to grab the big stuff, and then moving forward from there gets to like more of a smaller incremental grab.
Exactly. Yeah, because you want to catch the big stuff like leaves in the fall. If you don't catch those first, it's going to clog your pump. So you want to catch the big stuff, and then basically it's just, a section of filtration.
And what do you do? Like, okay, so it just caught a bunch of leaves.
Yeah.
What's your job?
Your job is going to increase in the fall, obviously, because those leaves are coming down. So you want to check the skimmer more frequently than any other season. But yeah, I mean, if you're out in the pond, you're feeding the fish daily. Check the skimmer daily, basically just pulling off generally just a plastic lid or just a faux rock lid. But you want to check to make sure there's no big debris in there. You want to make sure the pump's running clean.
And as you just said, this is something that you want to make sure you have access to in your backyard, but it's not something that needs to be an eyesore. We sell a lot of different items that can cover up your skimmer top. I mean, it's a whole industry on just making sure that, if you're hosting guests, they're not going, oh, what a beautiful pond and what an ugly robot looking thing
lightweight,
sitting over.
Fiberglass lids.
It's been thought of.
A variety of colors to match, whatever kind of rocking you're using.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also just the actual structuring of your pond. If you're taking it from start to finish, you should take into account that this is going to be a piece of equipment that you want there, and you can make your life a lot easier trying to cover up your skimmer by knowing where you're going to put it and building your rock structures in such a way that these top covers just fit in like a puzzle piece.
Yeah.
Just nice and easy.
It makes working on the pump so much easier in comparison to having a pump just submerged in the pond where you're pulling it out. It's going to take time. You got to turn the pump off, obviously, and generally you're going to want a rope of some kind tethered to the pump because you don't want to pull on the tubing. You could snap a fitting. So having a pump right in the skimmer, you pop a lid off, it's literally right there.
Right. And as he said before, this is all about taking the proper precautions to make sure that you don't have a massive algae bloom and to make sure that you don't overstress your pump. The skimmer really does a lot of the work by just being proactive. It just takes a lot of this stuff out of the way. Now, what does this not solve? This does not relieve you of the need to have a pond net.
No.
It does not relieve you of the need to have proper chemicals, proper algicide on deck in case something does come. And it is, in fact, a tool to make your life easier, but not something that just kind of automatically sets things up for success.
Right. Yeah, it's not a necessity by any means. You could live in an area with no trees, and you don't really have a lot of debris hitting the surface. But just having it, there where the pump is super accessible, and you won't have any risk of just loads of debris eventually hitting the surface. I mean, obviously you could have windstorms, but yeah, it's going to be consistently pulling that light debris off the surface before it sinks.
And I guess the last thing I want to say before we send you off is don't forget about it. Because it does make some things of your part of your pond maintenance like very easy.
Yeah.
But if you forget about this thing, now you're going to have a huge problem. It's going to be super located in one position because you've never cleaned this darn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not, again, it's not here to solve all your problems. It's not here to be forgotten about, but it is here to make your life a little bit easier. Yeah. So if you guys have any questions about a skimmer, you can just call Joe, tell him more or less what your current setup is, how to incorporate it. Even send him a picture of your pond, whatever makes it easy, man. Whatever gets you there. He loves looking at pictures. That's what he does half the day here. All right, guys, until next time, take care and enjoy your pond.